record this. Okay, so I started talking about recording. Okay, so for some reason, oop, it's not letting me move. Okay, how the Pythagorean theorem works. This is a right triangle, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the Pythagorean theorem states that when you square the two smaller sides and add them together, it equals the square of the larger side. Monica, do you have a calculator? What kind of calculator are you using?
Let me check. I will show you. Let me check.
Okay. And when I created the thing,
Is 30xa.
oh, good. You have this one?
Yeah, I have
You
the
have the
30x.
you have the one that we need to
x.
put it up to your
Yes.
camera.
Okay.
Okay, you have it's similar. The buttons are a little different.
This is I have one or I have the other.
This one, this is the one that I'm
This
using.
is better. This is better.
you all. It's just different buttons. I think the other one's closer. Okay, let's get started. So how the Pythagorean theorem works is when you square, and square means to multiply a number by itself. The legs, it should equal the square of the hypotenuse. So here's the steps on how to solve these. I gave these steps yesterday. So when you are given A and B, and it shows on the bottom, hi Sandra, I feel bad. You just sounded like you were in pain when you came in earlier. Do you see this? Can you see this? I'm trying to get this to exit. Oh, this may be better anyway. Can I move this out of the way? Oh, good. I'm able to move this. There. No, that didn't move. I want to undo that. Okay. I'm going to come into this one. And I'm still making a big view. Present. Okay. So do you see the triangle down here? This thing should leave in a minute. When I'm given the legs, the two shorter sides, you add them together after you square them. So when I say you're given the two legs, you're given the two sides that make the right angle. Then over here, this one, you're given the hypotenuse, and you do that one a little differently. So you do these steps. So I'd like you to write down these steps real quick, and we'll do some practice problems, but you need to have these 3 steps for each.
The 3 steps
Okay.
for adding and
Yeah, so you have steps when given 2 legs to solve for the hypotenuse. And then you have steps when given a hypotenuse and leg. They're a little different. It's at number 2 is where they change.
Okay, so you want us to write, take notes?
Yes, I would take notes on these steps, because if you memorize these steps, Pythagorean theorem is a piece of cake.
Okay.
Monica, do you know how to take the square root on your calculator?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is
Hi, Dee, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Thanks for asking. How about you?
I'm doing good. I had a free massage today, so I'm all nice and relaxed.
Yeah, that's nice. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, Dee. Okay, so right now everybody's taking down these notes so that way we can apply these notes to some problems. We started this yesterday. Can I tell me when you're done taking notes?
And the first one is Pythagorean.
They're both Pythagorean theorem,
Okay.
but one is when you're given the 2 legs of a triangle. The other one is when you're giving a leg and a hypotenuse, and your goal is to find a missing side length. So For this one, I'm trying to find this side. For this one, I'm trying to find this side right here.
Oh, okay, I'm still jotting down this.
That's okay, and that's why I want everybody to have these notes. Notes are really nice and helpful with math. As Dorothy has been finding out.
I'm sorry.
She's been rocking it because she's been taking lots and lots of notes. I think she
Yeah.
found out how she learns the best.
Yes, and it happened too.
I can tell your growth since you've been doing that strategy is like, woo.
Yes. I'm excited.
Okay. Okay, yes.
Okay, am I ready? Or are you still taking notes?
Give me a few more
I
seconds.
already
Okay,
did that
I'll wait.
yesterday. I already written notes yesterday.
Okay.
I'll just wait.
Okay, subtract the square. E2 equals 36. Almost done on my last one. Take the square root. Take square root. 36 equals 6. All right. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So, okay. Everybody good with the notes? I can move to the next page?
Yeah.
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 So I have 4 questions here. Now, remember, I'm going to draw where the right angle is really quick. And then from there, we are going to figure out, we're going to label our sides, okay? So here's a right angle. Remember, A and B are the 2 sides that make the right angle, okay? They touch and they make that corner. C is across from that right angle. It doesn't touch that 90 degrees, okay? Now, A and B can be interchanged. I could call one leg A and the other leg B, or I could flip it and call it B and A. It's the C that matters the most. So I
Got
always
it.
like figuring out which one is the C. So if I'm looking at number 1 here, which one is the C? The 17, the 19, or the question mark?
19.
The 19. And it's the longest side, and it's not touching that right angle. It's not creating that right angle. So this is C. Now, A and B, it doesn't matter which one I place. So what do you want to call question mark?
A.
I got A and then I got B. I'm going to do A. I always do A as the smallest one. I don't know why. And then B, I'll call this one B. Have I lost anybody yet?
Nope.
Okay, I gave you 2 sets of examples, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first one said you have both the legs, right? And then the second one says you have a leg and a hypotenuse. Which one do you have for number 1? Do you have both legs, or do you have a leg and a hypotenuse where you have numbers for both?
So you have the hypotenuse and the legs.
We have a hypotenuse and 1 leg. That's correct. Our hypotenuse is 19 and 1 leg is 17. So when I plug it into this formula here, the question mark was a squared. I don't have a number for that. B is the 17, so that's 17 squared. And when I put equals, 19 squared. If you look at your notes, what was the first step on that second set of notes where you're given the hypotenuse and the leg? What was our first step?
Square it.
Square the numbers, right?
Mhm.
Okay, what is 17 squared?
Oh,
What's 17 times 17?
289.
Yep, that's a pretty big number, isn't it?
289.
289.
289.
And then what is 19 squared?
361.
361.
361. So now what do I do with these two numbers? What did your steps say? Because now we're on step 2.
Subtract.
Subtract.
Did everybody agree? Yeah, I'm subtracting. So take 361 minus 289 and tell me what you get.
72.
Everybody get 72?
Yes.
Yes.
Does everybody understand where that 72 came from?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anybody have a question before I move on? Because I'm more than willing to answer questions. Monica, you good so far?
Not really.
Okay. When I say square, do you know what that means?
Yes.
Multiply it by itself. Did you
Multiply
write
for
down?
the sake.
Yeah. Did you write down the notes that was on the board on the previous page?
No.
What were you doing when I said everybody write down the notes? That's why you're
I incomplete, sorry.
Yeah, that's why you're confused because you didn't write down the notes. Okay, so a squared plus c squared a squared plus b squared equals c squared. That's the Pythagorean theorem. You can use that for all right triangles. A and B are the legs. They create the corner. The corner.
Uh-huh.
C is the longest side. That's called the hypotenuse. Always label your C first. When these, so I'm going to square, and you said you understood that 17 times 17 is 289,
Yes.
and that 19 times 19 is 361.
Yes.
Okay. See how they're on opposite sides of the equal sign?
Yes.
When they are on the opposite sides, you subtract. So what's 361 minus 289?
It's 72.
72. That's where the 72 came from.
Okay.
Is that making a little bit better sense?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
better.
now the final step, if you would have taken your notes, Brandy could tell you what the last step is. So can Dorothy. Dorothy, what's the last step?
square root.
Square root. The very last step.
The square root.
Square root. So that means you need to find this button on your calculator and do the square root. And you're going to get a decimal.
8.48.
8.48, and it said to the nearest tenth. This is the nearest tenth, so what would I round it to?
8.4. 8.4.
No, because this 8 is big, and this is the 10th place, I'm going to pop that 4 up. When I say round, you look at the number behind it.
950.
So this is 8.
850.
Well, you just put 5 because it has to be to the 10th place.
8.5, okay.
Okay, so we squared the numbers, we subtracted the two numbers, and then we took the square root, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody have questions before I move on? Because I want
No.
everybody to know how to do this.
Okay, I have a question. I just don't know how did you get 8.48?
Okay, so what kind of calculator do you have, Angelica? Do you have the, okay, let me, I have one of those calculators. So let me, I'm going to exit this and I'm going to pull that up really quick for you. If you have a computer, by the way, you guys can download this. Hey, Adrian, did you know you can download this for free for 6 months? This calculator off the TI website.
You know what? You sent it to me before. That was
I
interesting.
know. It's awesome. Okay, so and let me change the view so it's the same as what she's looking at, which we use this one. Okay, so does this look familiar to you? This looks like what you're looking at, right, Angelica?
Yes, it's the same thing.
Okay, so I'm going to clear everything. You're going to hit this second button. You're going to hit the x squared button. See how you get that square root popped up?
Yes.
You're going to hit 72.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit 72 and press enter, it gives you something ugly. To get the decimal, you press this arrow key above the enter right here. And see how they got that 8.48 that we would round to 8.5?
Okay. Okay.
We good?
Yeah, I tried to press the arrows before and it didn't show anything up. So that's where I got confused. Thank you so much.
Now where, oh, hold on a minute. Now I gotta go back. I gotta pull this up. Okay. So, how come I lost my hand? Oh, because I was doing the, okay. So now I'm gonna go in present mode. We're gonna look at number 2. And remember, I'm gonna let Monica tell me this. Okay, Monica? We have
Yes.
a squared plus b squared equals c squared. The corner is right here. Do you see that this makes a corner
The
right
corner
there?
is C. Is C.
Well, right here is the corner.
Yes.
Okay, so which is C? The 5, the 13, or the question mark?
Is the number 5?
No. The legs are what makes the corner. C is the longest side and it's across from the corner. So in this case, C
Is
is the
7.
question mark.
The question mark.
Okay.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
A and B, it doesn't matter. I usually choose A as my smaller and B as my larger. That's just me. Okay. So now I'm going to plug these numbers into this formula right here. What is A?
Oh, we
5.
have
5. And I'm going to square it. What is B?
5.
13.
Is 13.
And I need to square it. And I'm looking for the hypotenuse. So this is the first set of notes. Because see how I have them on the exact same side of the equal sign? So I'm going to add the squares. What's 5 squared?
25.
What is 13 squared?
63, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
you gotta use
No.
calculator. What's
9.
13 times 13? What did you say, Dorothy?
160. It's 169. 169.
169. There it is. Equals C squared. What am I going to do with the 25 and 169?
We got the rest.
I have to add them together.
194
Yes.
equals 64.
194 equals C squared. Okay, and then what's my last step?
You got the
Square root.
Square
no,
root.
194.
Square root, Maria. Great job. Square root. So I'm going to square root 194.
Equals
What is that?
13
Hold on.
point 1392.
So
So
round
I'll
it
just
off.
round that to 13.9.
Okay.
Because 13.92, 2 is less than 5, so that 9 is going to stay a 9.
Okay. 13.9.
Yep.
So question.
Sure.
I can't round that off to, it's 13.9. I can't round that off to 14 or,
What does it say right here? To the
Nearest
nearest tenth.
Nearest
Yeah, you have to
Okay.
follow the directions. If it would have
Okay.
said nearest whole number, then you could have rounded it to 14.
Okay, got it. Okay. One more question.
Sure.
So, couldn't I have just added 17 squared plus 19 squared and got 194?
No, because, go ahead and take the square root of 194 and tell me what you get.
Okay, square root of 194. I got 14.0.
What? When you added the squares of it?
Okay, so say it again.
You
do you
told
want me to
me,
do?
could you add the squares of 19 and 17? That was your question. And I said,
Right.
go ahead and take the squares and add them together and tell me what you get.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 17. Okay.
Because if you made the mistake to add these, it's going to be fairly obvious that you get the wrong answer. And I'll show you why, but I need to get you that answer.
17. So 17 squared plus 19 squared.
Mm-hmm.
19 squared. I got 650.
Okay, take the square root of that.
Okay. The square root of 650?
Uh-huh. And give me the decimal.
Okay. Okay, the decimal is 25.4.
Now I'm going to ask you to use a little common sense, because I know
Okay.
you have common sense, Sandra.
Mm-hmm.
Would it make sense for this to be 25.4, looking at the picture?
I don't know.
Well, the longest side is always going to be the one that's on the diagonal, the slanted one, right?
Okay.
It has to be, because it's connecting the small one and the small one. Across from the 90 will always be the longest side. But now you're telling me this is the longest side. Does this make sense for this little side to be
No.
longer than 19?
No.
Ew.
It has to be
19.
smallest.
It has to be the smallest side. That's why you end up subtracting. So this was incorrect. You have to subtract when you're given the hypotenuse, because the hypotenuse is the longest side. And what did we get for that answer when we did that? 19x squared minus 17x squared. And then that was 72. And I'm taking the square root. Does this make better sense? Where's the eraser? Does this make better sense? 8.9. Now look at the picture. Does that size make better sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
So sometimes when you're doing these type of problems, it's good to look and say, does it make sense?
Okay.
Because this is when I want you to try and get right on the test. Like I was telling Angelica, she's signed up for the HSC. You're going to see a whole heck of a lot of stuff on there that I did not teach you, because I don't have 3 years with you. I mean, I'm more than willing to spend 3 years with you, but there's a bunch of algebra 1, there's geometry on there, and there's a tad bit of algebra 2 on there. Do you all want to spend 3 years with me?
Yeah.
Brandy's like, sure. No, you probably don't. And so I teach you just enough to pass the test, is the moral of the story. So whatever I teach you, you want to try and master.
Right.
Okay? So really look back and just say, does it make sense? Use your common sense. A lot of times, people who have common sense at work and are really good with math at work, like basic math, for some reason, when they get into a math class, they throw that common sense out the window.
That's me.
Let's not do that.
Okay.
Okay, so again, number 3. So I'm going to have Monica do this again. Monica, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Monica. I always say label C first because that's the one that matters with labeling. Is 20, 10, or question mark C?
Is the 20?
Yes, good job. That's
Yes.
C. Okay, so tell me which one you want me to label A, because it really doesn't matter. Do you want 10 to be A or question mark to be A?
A is 10.
Okay, and then I'm going to label this question
It's
mark
a B. B.
as B.
Yes.
Okay, so now when I do this, I have 10 squared
Square.
plus B squared, because I don't have a number here for B, equals 20 squared, because I just plug those numbers in for A, B, and C. What is 10 squared, everybody?
100.
100.
100
Yes.
plus B squared equals, what's 20 times 20?
400.
400.
200.
Now, am I going to add 400 and 100, or am I going to subtract 400 and 100?
Correct.
I guess it's subtract.
It's subtract. And why is it subtract?
Yes.
Opposite.
Right, it's on the opposite sides of the equal
It's
sign.
opposite.
So you're going to do 400 minus
Minus.
100. And what does
It's
that equal?
300.
Is
300.
300. Is 300 the answer?
No, they got the
Square root.
Square
The
root. You
square
always have
root.
to take the square root at the end. So then do square root of 300. What do you get?
is 70.32.
17.32, which we do it as
17.3.
17 point.
33. Yes.
Are we feeling any better on these?
Yeah.
Yes, I guess.
Okay. So Monica, the problem you have is Tuesday, Thursday, you go to Donna's class, but I keep doing math. And so you feel like you're getting behind in math. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just watch the videos. I usually post them in the morning, and then you
Yes,
can
please.
just watch the classroom video. So I just, I'll walk you through that at the end of class, show you where all that's at, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so let's get someone else here. Who would like to label this triangle for me as A, B, and C? Brandy, you want to try it?
Yeah.
Which is C, Brandy? 5, 14, or well, you know, you have a computer. Go ahead and label them. I'm going to get rid of all my other drawings here.
The question.
I guess
I'm gonna annotate.
this time
Yep.
mark.
So
And yep. While she's doing it, think to yourself, which one is C? Because that's
whoops,
the one
I gotta
that
clear it.
matters.
No, it's a C.
Okay, this is C.
Which one is C? That's the one you have to think
Yes.
about. There we go.
And the 14 is like B.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter which one's A and which one's B. It always matters which one is what?
C.
C. Great job on doing your C there, Brandy. Okay, who would like to help me set up the question then? I mean, the formula.
5
Sandra?
squared
5 squared
plus 14
5
squared
squared.
plus 14 squared equals C squared.
There we go. And so what is 5 squared?
25
25.
Good. And what
Plus
is 4 squared?
196.
196. And then am I going to add these or subtract these?
Add.
I guess
Add.
it's
It's add because they are on the
21.
same side of the equal sign.
Okay.
So you go ahead and
it's
add.
the same.
When they are on the opposite sides of the equal sign, you
You got to
subtract.
subtract.
Okay,
Yes.
it just finally clicked in. Okay, subtract.
So this one you would add, but when they're on the opposite sides of the equal sign, then you subtract. So what's 25 plus 196?
221.
14.
And what's my last step every single time?
It's
Square
Square
root
root.
Square root it.
221.
And what's the square root of 221?
14.9.
87.
14.9.
No,
14.9, because it
14.9.
was
Yeah.
14.87, but you round it to 14.9.
9. Yes.
And that's right here.
Because you're rounding.
How are you feeling? A little bit better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to clear this. And we're going to do some word problems. I'm going to help you draw the pictures. And then from the pictures, you just determine which is A, which is B, which is C, because that's the hard part on the test is they don't show you a triangle a lot of times. They actually give you a word problem.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so I'll have a lot of students come in. I didn't see any Pythagorean theorem. You always tell me there's Pythagorean theorem. And I say, yes, because they give it to you in a word problem. So you don't see it. And so if you don't recognize this Pythagorean theorem, that's where you get into problems.
Right.
So Brooke is fishing from a small boat. So Dawn is not the greatest of drawers, but I'll pretend I am. So this is a boat, right? There's Brooke. Okay, I'll give her some arms. And she is fishing, right? Her fishing hook is 3 meters below her. So if this is her, right? Right here is 3 meters. Have I lost anybody yet?
Nope.
No.
Everybody, and y'all understand my beautiful drawings. Okay, okay, at the same depth. So that means it's 3 down, so it's straight over because it said at the same depth, meaning at the same, far down. A little fish. Let's see if I can draw a little fish. Here's my fish, right? Boy, I'm such a great artist. Aren't you glad you have me as a math teacher? And yeah, this is 4 meters. So how far away is Brooke? Here's Brooke. Here's the fish. So if they're wanting to know how far away Brooke is, they want this distance here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you see how it made a right triangle? Because if it's at the exact same depth and just 4 meters away, then you know you have a right angle right here. So all I can say is draw your darn pictures.
Okay.
And as you can tell, Dawn is not the greatest of artists. So if Dawn can draw a picture, you all can draw a picture. Right, Brittany?
Yes.
Okay. So And I'll just put a little question mark right here because I don't know what this is, right?
This is
What is C?
the this mark.
The question mark. That's what I'm
The
looking
question
for,
mark.
is the hypotenuse, right?
Yes, it's C.
So what am I going to label as A and B?
The 3 is A and
A.
the 4 is B.
And so then we have 3
3
squared
plus 4
4 square.
square.
So 9 plus 16.
Yep. And what is 9 plus, oh, blue on blue doesn't work. Oh, we'll do that here. 9
25.
plus 16 is 25. Am I done?
No, we got
Nope,
to
you add
square it.
square root.
Square root. Good job. And so what's the final answer?
Final answer is 5.
5. Do you know what
5.
most students would do on this problem?
What's that?
They would add 3 and 4 together. And would they get the problem wrong?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I've seen students do it when I give them readiness tests and they have Pythagorean theorem, and a lot of times they'll just add those two together and they'll get that wrong. And Pythagorean theorem is not that hard. Do you think it's hard right now? I mean,
No.
it's not really if you know the steps.
No.
So this is one you want to get right on the test. You just have to recognize when it's making a right triangle.
Okay.
Wendy, how are you doing on this? Are you able to follow along?
Yes, I do.
Okay, is it good stuff?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, good. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, so Trent is, I'm gonna have to get rid of this so I can see it. Trent is decorating a ballroom ceiling with garland. Oh, like for Christmas or something, right? Oh.
Yes.
The width of a rectangular ceiling. So, oh, what word did they use right there? What shape? What shape? Rectangular, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm going to draw what?
a rectangle.
I'm going to draw a rectangle because it said rectangular. So when I draw things, I may get this right. And so the width is 16 meters, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, now what is and it says the diagonal distance from one corner to the opposite corner. So a diagonal, and they do this a lot with Pythagorean theorem, because guess what happens when I draw a diagonal of a rectangle?
It's half.
Right, and what do you see there? What kind of triangle is this?
A right triangle.
It's a right triangle. And so now I can use Pythagorean theorem. So this would be 20 because they said the diagonal corner to corner. I could have drawn it this way or I could draw it the other way. And I only want to draw one because they just talked about one diagonal. How much garland will Trent need for the length of the ceiling? So they're wondering about this amount right here.
Hmm.
And right here is your right angle. Do you see that that the half makes a triangle?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The letter C is 20.
The C is 20, correct. Because I'm making it nicer and neater. Yeah, because when I get this half is a triangle.
And the B is question mark.
Yeah, we could call this B or A, whatever, and then we could call this A.
The C,
So
yeah.
tell me how I'm going to set it up then.
There's 20 plus 60.
No, A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Yeah. Sorry.
So what am I going to put for A?
20.
Hey, 16.
No, 16. You told me
16,
C
sorry,
was 20.
16
Yeah. So 16 squared plus B
plus
squared, I don't know what B is, equals 20 squared, right? What is 16 squared?
16.
256.
56.
20 squared would be 400.
Great job, Randy. You are right. And then what do I do with the 400 and 256? Is this an adding one or a subtracting one?
Subtract.
Subtract.
Subtracting, because they're on opposite
it's
sides of the
opposite
equal
side.
sign. And what's 400 minus 256?
144.
144.
Okay, and that's B squared. And then I'm going to take the square root, right?
Yes.
And then what is the square root of 144?
12.
Yep, just 12. These are nice, these word problems, because we're getting whole numbers. Okay, so I want to talk to you about something.
Minus 256.
Are you all listening?
Yeah.
Yes.
They use the word diagonal in a lot of word problems that do deal with Pythagorean theorem. And the reason is, when you buy a TV set, how do they describe how big the TV set is? Do they give you two numbers or do they just give you one number?
One number.
One number.
One number. Have you been, yeah, if you bought a TV recently, you know, you can get what, 17, 18, 24, you can get big ones, you know, 46. What are they measuring then? Where are they getting just one measure when a TV is basically a rectangle?
Right.
Have you ever wondered that?
No.
No.
You've never ever thought when you were buying a TV, what that number was actually representing.
No.
It represents,
I thought it represented the inches of the TV.
right, but a TV has width and length. So what are we measuring then to get that inches? Because it's not area, because it's not inches squared.
Oh, I guess I never thought about it.
It's the diagonal. It's from the corner to the corner is what they're measuring. So yeah, they do that. They do that for all. So because that's a real life example of Pythagorean theorem, you see those diagonals like this rectangle one in a lot of word problems, okay?
Okay.
So if they say you know, a TV has a diagonal of this and a width of this, you would set up a rectangle, and they're probably going to be asking the length. Or they do that with baseball diamonds, because baseball diamonds are actually just a square that's turned sideways, and they'll give you the diagonal. You'll see. Because I'm going to give you lots of these word problems. Because do I usually lie to you all? When I say I give you lots, don't I usually give you lots?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So let's look at this one. Running from the top of the flagpole to a hook on the ground, there is a rope that is 10 meters long. If the hook is 8 meters from the base of the flagpole, so I have, you know, I have the ground, right? And I have a little hook. So here's the ground. And I have a little hook in the ground, right? Here's a hook. And then here's, and 8 meters away, there's a big old flagpole, right? And then,
There's 10 meters.
Is the flagpole 10 or is the rope to the flagpole 10, to the hook 10? Read it carefully.
The rope is 10 meters long.
And what, but where, oh, I didn't want to do that. But where is the rope going from? Is the rope the flagpole? Because look at what they're asking for in the question. What are they asking for?
How tall is the flagpole?
They're asking how tall
Oh,
the
yeah.
flagpole is.
Oh, yeah.
So the rope is going from the flagpole to this hook in the ground, right?
Okay,
Yeah.
it's 10.
And this is what is 10.
Yeah, this is a
Yes.
question mark. Yeah.
And then the
The
flagpole is the question mark. Where's the right angle?
On the right
It's
side.
8.
It's a-
Not with the
8.
8. What makes the corner? Do you hope that the flagpole is perpendicular to the ground, meaning that the flagpole is nice and straight?
Yeah, we want it nice and straight.
Yeah, we want a nice straight flagpole. We don't want
Yes.
a flagpole that looks like this. That'd be kind of silly. We want a flagpole that looks like this and is perpendicular to the ground. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So how would I set up this problem then? What is C? Because C is the one you want to label first.
Is it 10?
Is it? No.
Yep.
Ah,
Yep.
yeah.
Because here's the right angle, right, Monica?
Yes. Yes,
And
yes, yes, yes.
C is always across from the
Yes,
right
the
angle.
cross. Yes, it's the cross.
Okay, so what should I label A? Question mark or 8? It really doesn't matter.
Question mark.
Okay, so I'm going to label this as A, and then I'll label this as B. So how would I set this up?
A squared
A
A
squared,
squared.
plus
8
A
squared.
squared equals 10 squared.
Exactly. 8 squared plus 8, A squared plus 8 squared. That's hard to say. Equals 10 squared. What's 8 times 8?
64.
64.
64. And then what's 10 times 10?
100.
100.
100. And then when I subtract 160, well, I shouldn't have told you that. Why is it subtraction, by the way? I should have
Because
let you.
the opposite, the
Yeah, they're on the opposite sides of the equal sign. When they're on the same side of the equal sign, we
we
add.
add.
When they're on the opposite side, we
we
subtract. So what's 100 minus 30 or 64?
36.
36.
That's
See,
50.
I was about ready to give you the answer. If you caught me, I was about ready to say, no, I gotta close my mouth. And then what's the square root of 36?
6.
6.
6. Yeah, square root of 36 is equal to 6. So this flagpole is 6 feet tall.
You know what, Don? I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, since we're going through this now, I think that was Pythagorean, that one of the questions on the test, but it had to do with a ladder.
Yep, they do that one too, where they'll say, I have a building, right? So this is a
Yeah.
building, and the ladder has to be like 4 feet away.
Yes.
And then they may give you either how tall the ladder is or high up, like where the window is, and then you do Pythagorean theorem.
Okay, so
That's a very
remember that, guys, because now that we're going through that, I'm starting to remember stuff on the test that I flunked, and this was it. This was one I got wrong because I had no idea what I was doing. Now I do.
Yay.
Right.
Is that right, Dorothy? Do you remember something like that?
Yes.
I did not.
And you
I didn't
have
know
to
what they were
draw
talking
the
about.
darn pictures. When they start
Yes.
giving you a story problem, you have to draw the pictures, because it could either be Pythagorean theorem, or it could be similar triangles, but similar triangles, you'll get more information, and they will say something is similar. Okay, how are you feeling? Good? Bad?
Good. Good.
Monica,
Yes.
you feeling
Much better.
Hey,
Yes.
I like to hear
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Monica, I'll never leave you stranded. You know that.
Yes.
I'm here for you.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, oh, look at what's this one. No, this is about a house. Oh, no, this is about walking. I was like all excited thinking there would be a ladder. Okay, Leo's house is due west. And anytime they're talking due west, due south, that means right angles. Do you all know your compass rose?
No, I don't.
Okay, so you go north.
Oh, south, east, and west. Okay.
And I always remember it makes the word we. That's the only way I can remember it.
Oh, good. Okay.
Am I a dork or what? Yep, it makes we.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so that compass rose should help us. I keep having to turn this off because it's in front of it. Leo's house is due west from Belmont. Okay, so I'm going to just use L for Leo and B for Belmont. Can I do that? That makes sense because I'm a horrible drawer and I don't want to make. So what did it say again? L is due west of Belmont. So due west of Belmont. So that would mean that Belmont is over here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now I got to do this. And due south of Manchester. So Leo's house is due south of Manchester. So Manchester, I'm going to have to redraw it down here. I didn't give myself enough room. So I have B and I have L and I have M because he's west of Belmont, but he's south of Manchester. Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
And so then and remember when we're talking about due west, due north and all that fun stuff, this is going to make a right triangle right there.
Oh, okay.
And then they want to know how far from, oh, wait a minute. So I'm going to make a right triangle. Belmont is 5 miles from Leo's house. I got to put in my numbers. Belmont is 5 miles from Leo's house and 13 miles from Manchester. Because here's Belmont, right? 5 miles from here, 13 miles from there. How far is Manchester from Leo's house?
Okay. So my C is 13.
Yep, your C is 13. So
13.
So I'll have, this is my question mark here. So help me label. This is C. What am I going to label 5 as?
B.
B.
B and then A. Okay, so now I'm going to work it out. A squared, because I don't have a number, plus
5 squared
5 squared equals
square.
13
13.
squared. Yeah. And then what is 5 squared? What's 5 times
25.
25.
25.
Square.
And then what's 13 times 13?
169.
169. Do I add or subtract these?
Subtract this.
I'm going to subtract. And when I subtract, what do I get?
144.
144. They will have 144 as probably one of your answer choices because they want to see if you're going to stop and not finish this off. It wouldn't make sense for this little 5 and this little 13 and then this to be 144. So you know you have to do, what's your last step always?
Square root.
Square root. And so what is the square root of 144? 12. So then this is 12. Tomorrow we're just going to do more word problems and a mixture of these type, a mixture of just solving Pythagorean theorem. I am going to show you, Monica, if you could hang on a little bit, I want to show you what's in my Google Classroom and make sure you get in there because I think you'll be a lot happier. Okay, so for your IXL codes, to find the Pythagorean, find the length of the hypotenuse is LDL. Find the missing leg length is ME7. And then Pythagorean theorem word problems is 87U. Those are all IXL codes.
Well, this will be on Google Classroom, correct?
I think it's already up there if I,
Okay, great.
because I knew I was going to get my massage. So I wanted to upload it. I think I did. I better look because I was so excited about getting that. And then Khan Academy is use Pythagorean to find right triangle sides or Pythagorean theorem word problems. So they have both. Does everybody have that so they can practice?
Yes.
If I check IXL, I can't check really Khan Academy. I can if I make a classroom in Khan Academy. I'm debating. I didn't want to give you more codes because I give you a code for Remind. I give you a code for Google Classroom. I can make a classroom for and then be able to check your work too. But I'm going to assume you all are adults and actually want to pass the HSC and assume you're going to be doing this. Okay, so I'm going to exit here and I'm going to pull up my Google Classroom for Monica. Okay.
Good to leave, right?
Okay.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, teacher.
Bye.
Bye.
See you all tomorrow.
Bye, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
Okay.
Don,
So
I'm sorry, Don. I have a real quick question. What time are you on tomorrow?
5:30.
Okay. I'll see you at
Okay.
5:30. Bye-bye.
See you at 6.
Okay, so I'm going to I'm showing you my Google Classroom. And okay, so right here is my Google Classroom. Now, yesterday, I'm going to stop my recording though really quick. I'm going to stop screen share and then I'll screen share it again, but I just want to stop the recording really quick.